Right, so just want to point one thing out that as part of buying in new parts for the rear beam, we've got these, what do we call them, caliper carriers, whatever, that sit on the end of the beam. This one is obviously brand new, it came with the GM stickers on and everything. And you might think, oh, right, we can just slap that on the car. But this one, which was the nearest I could get to a new one for reasonable money, looks like it's been on the car, I don't know, 6 months, a year. And you can see the state of it already. It's already corroding. Maybe the brake dust gets in there and attacks it or something. So we need to give this brand new one and this one a bit of protection to stop the rot. So yeah, I just thought if you were wondering about bolting that straight on, then this is what it's going to look like fairly soon. So I'm going to give mine a bit of stone chipping or whatever, zinc primer or something, just to try and protect them a bit more. Just another one, if you are going to be working on these cars, you're going to need a set of Torx sockets. I got this one for about, I don't know, 12 quid. Goes all the way up to E24, and this rear bush requires a E20, so yeah, you're going to need yourself a set of them. So if you are doing this yourself as well, to get these bushes out, first thing to do is to just get a screwdriver knocked through this plastic cover around this side, just chip that off, and then on this side is a rubber cover, just prise that off, and then we can see we've got kind of a bit of a lip, I think, here, so you may just need to knock that back. I'm not sure yet. That's what I've seen from other videos anyway. And shout out to all the other people who've gone before me on this. I watched a few videos. If you're gonna watch some good restoration videos, I would recommend searching for Aaron Unknown on YouTube. He's got some great videos for the GSI and other cars, so go and watch him. Cheers. Yeah, these things are amazing things. It's the first time I've actually used them myself, and you can see how well they attack down to the metal. These cruddy brackets. Obviously you're going to use the right protection, goggles, gloves, ear protection, but yeah, really good stuff. By the way, don't think that I'm some kind of professional when it comes to cars. I'm not. I'm just an idiot with a little bit too much excess energy perhaps. So yeah, so I just need to get in there. I couldn't get in there all together with these things, so a little bit of manual wire brushing, and then we'll get a lick of paint on them. Other piece of the puzzle with rebuilding the rear beams are these backing plates that sit behind the rear discs. Again, all looking nice and fresh, but already on the corners here you can see that the paint is just flaking off already. So I'm just going to key these back, primer it, stone chip it, and then a coat of like a satin black like these are, just to try and give me that extra protection against the rust. So yeah, nothing much really, but just because they turn up looking fresh doesn't mean they're going to last much longer like that. Better to give them a bit of extra protection if you can. So that's another wee job. So these have come out well. So these were this one was the second-hand one. This was brand new. They both had a rub down and a primer coat. So I didn't rub them back very hard at all. Just rub back the surface rust on this. Go back to so I then primed it with zinc primer, stone chipped it, a couple of coats, and then a semi-gloss coat on top of that. So these are ready to go on the car. Okay, so I got bored of painting things in the loft, so I thought I'd have a first go at rubbing the underneath back to work out which tools work best and what works and what doesn't. So I started to attack an area that I was comfortable with attacking, as in easy to get to, and I just had a go. So this whole area is usually covered with the whole waxy seal stuff, and as you can see, in some areas I just can't get into the corners, so it's still there. But it's been interesting to work out what works and what doesn't. Obviously I've got a lot of bare metal now, so we need to sort that out before the rust just starts to get on the surface again. But it's given me some ideas as to what really works under here, what doesn't, what other equipment I'm going to need to buy. But again, so far no scary moments, no holes poking through to the inside of the car, and lots of clean metal coming up, so that's a good sign. So what do I do next? Well, like I say, there's some areas that my tools haven't got into that I need to try and work out a way of getting into, like in there. May just have to be some kind of drill grinder thingamajig. But yeah, interesting so far. Not sure what to do now. No, we'll try and get rid of all these nitty bits, and if I can't get rid of them, it's only the under seal anyway, so I'm not too bothered. They can spray over them and it won't get affected. So yeah, so the experiment continues. So I wanted to work out which paint is gonna, or which primer works best. I've got an etch primer and a zinc primer. I figure that any bare metal really needs to have etch primer on it, so that's what I've done here. I just covered the section that I basically rubbed down. My theory is that, you know, should this particular paint or conditions that I'm spraying in not be any good, then I can just rub it all back down anyway. And yes, I haven't completely removed every single little bit of underseal. Like I say, am I too worried about that? I don't think so. It's obviously going to look a little bit unsightly, but nobody's really ever going to look under here. The main aim is to just, for my own benefit really, make sure that I've found any rust areas and dealt with them, which I feel I am doing. Yeah, it's not looking too bad, so I'm going to leave that to dry overnight, have a look at it tomorrow, because it is still cold. It's, you know, only just turned March, so I don't know how well this is going to dry and adhere to the metal. But that's half the fun of the experiment really, seeing what works and what doesn't. So I'm just going to leave that as it is for tonight, go back inside and finish off some spraying in the loft.